You like podcasts? Oh, I like podcasts. Get the TYT podcast. Get the whole show and TYT interviews and old school and aggressive, progressive. So many wonderful TYT shows. No ads. Become a member right now. TYTnetwork.com/join. All right, welcome to the Young Turks. We got a hell of a show for you guys today. As usual, some serious stuff, some light stuff. In a little bit, we're going to get to Trump pardoning a turkey. That ought to be awesome. Doug Jones comes out with a devastating ad in Alabama against Roy Moore. President Trump has weighed in. Is he going to support Roy Moore or not? A little bit later in the program, and I'll break it down for you guys. And then in the second hour, we've got Charlie Rose. Devastating. Done. Stick a fork in him. Really bad. So sometimes some of you folks are saying, hey, you're covering too many of these sexual harassment stories one after another. This is a watershed moment, man. And one after another keeps coming out. We actually literally can't keep up with them. And so we got to give you the big ones and explain the context of it and what it means for society, et cetera. And we're doing the best we can. All right, before I move on to today's stories, and the first one, like I said, will be light. Oh, we got some great updates on Just Democrats, exciting announcement today, and then on Wolfpack as well. Okay, but before I do any of that, I just want to quickly note one thing. A lot of you have been asking about what happened with Jordan Chariton, and we cannot legally comment on it yet. And that is because we need to and want to respect people's privacy, including Jordan's. So we will be able to comment on it hopefully soon, but not yet. If you think that's frustrating for you, it is far, far more frustrating for us. But we will talk about it as soon as we can. In the meantime, we will continue to respect everybody's privacy on it. All right, now let's do the show. Let's go over here. Okay. So we have the annual tradition here in America where the president pardons a turkey. It's preposterous. We slaughter millions of them for this holiday of ours. Let's just keep it real. But we pardon one. Are we not magnanimous? Anyway, it's okay. It happens. Trump has not done it particularly worse necessarily than anyone else. Actually, no. Well, you be a judge for yourself. I want to show you Trump thinking that he's pardoning a turkey and how it turns out. Let's watch.
You don't show the aspirin on
His aspirin.
After that, he said, I'm not going to pardon you. You've been terrible to me. You've been very unfair to me. You're a fake turkey. Well, in that case, that would be true. All right, that was, of course, from the campaign when he had that goofy shoot with an eagle. So this is the actual video of him pardoning the turkey.
I feel so good about myself, telling you. Are you ready, drumstick? Okay. Drumstick, you are hereby pardoned.
So people try to find something wrong with every single thing that Donald Trump does. You don't have to look that hard. Okay, but in this case, some folks have looked too hard. I don't know if this guy's joking or not, but Dave Brown writes, Trump may have pardoned the wrong bird. Oh my God, we've got a conspiracy afoot. Okay, there is no such thing as the wrong bird. We're killing 99.999% of them. It could have been another bird, and what difference would it have made? Okay, all right, I hope he was joking. There's no real conspiracy here. In fact, I pardon Donald Trump's pardon. It was perfectly fine. There was nothing wrong with it. All right, but we're going to continue to have fun because you can't pass up an opportunity to bring back the legendary Sarah Palin pardoning of a turkey that went disastrously wrong. And afterwards, I'm going to read you some great tweets on the Trump pardon of the turkey. But you remember this moment, she goes to pardon a turkey and does not notice what's happening in the background, which is decidedly not pardoning the turkey. Watch.
Oil prices, are you concerned about any state programs being on the chopping block?
You know, thankfully, we're
in a good position still, fiscally speaking. So accounting for that, all of that comes into play now at $50 barrel oil.
Right, so why was today so important for you?
Especially with so much that has gone on in the last couple of months that has been so political, obviously. Heavy-handed politics that invites criticism. Certainly will probably invite criticism for even doing this too, but at least this was fun. I'll be in charge of the turkey. Yeah, I'm where I need to be today to prepare for that.
Okay, I don't know what part of that video I love most. Is it the turkey going through the grinder in the background? And I'm sorry, guys, for all you vegans and vegetarians, I'm sorry, but she's like, I'm here to pardon the turkey. I'll probably even get criticized for this. Meanwhile, the turkey's like twitching in the back, right? Yes, you did get criticized for that because you're a knucklehead. Or the guy who keeps looking back, the grinder dude who's like, yes, dude, you're in the video. Anyway, now back to Trump. Let's continue to have fun. Matt Fuller with a great tweet. He said he's imitating Trump after the pardon. Isn't this just the greatest turkey pardon you've ever seen? I mean, what an amazing pardon. Just the classiest turkey pardon. Everyone says so. No one has pardoned a turkey better than Trump. No one. Just a tremendous pardon. Really the greatest pardon in the history of turkey. Elon Gale with another great one. Writing in, for Thanksgiving, Donald Trump is going to pardon a turkey and then yell at it for 14 hours for not thanking him properly. I'm surprised he didn't name it LeVar. Okay, and then finally this one. Daily Show with nice try, Mike Flynn. Oh, this was too much fun. Okay, not important, just fun. We're moving on. All right. Now,
we need to talk about a relatively new show called the Republic, or UNFTR. As a Young Turks fan, you already know that the government, the media, and corporations are constantly peddling lies that serve the interests of the rich and powerful. But now there's a podcast dedicated to unraveling those lies, debunking the conventional wisdom. In each episode of the Republic, or UNFTR, the host delves into a different historical episode or topic that's generally misunderstood or purposely obfuscated by the so-called powers that be, featuring in-depth research, razor-sharp commentary, and just the right amount of vulgarity. The UNFTR podcast takes a sledgehammer to what you thought you knew about some of the nation's most sacred historical cows. But don't just take my word for it. The New York Times described UNFTR as consistently compelling and educational, aiming to challenge conventional wisdom and upend the historical narratives that were taught in school. For as the great philosopher Yoda once put it, you must unlearn what you have learned. And that's true whether you're in Jedi training or you're uprooting and exposing all the propaganda and disinformation you've been fed over the course of your lifetime. So search for UNFTR in your podcast app today and get ready to get informed, angered, and entertained all at the same time.
So it's easy to get depressed in this day and age with a lot of things going wrong. Donald Trump's president. You've got Roy Moore, this monstrous figure in Alabama. By the way, neck and neck in that race. He might still yet win. And it's easy to get discouraged, but you shouldn't be, because it turns out voting matters. I want to tell you about something that happened last week, but it affects everything going forward, in my opinion. So there was a race in Oklahoma. It's in the county of Tulsa. It's deeply conservative. Now, Oklahoma overall went to Trump by 36 points. In this particular district, 37th district, it looks like it went to Trump by about 30 points, so it's hopeless. Actually, credit to the Democrats in a sense. Last time there was an election in this district, they actually poured money into it. They tried. They had their standard Democratic candidate, and they spent $200,000 and got clobbered. No chance, okay? So this time, they're like, all right, who cares? They don't put any money into it, relatively speaking, certainly nowhere near the earlier sum. And Allison Ickley Freeman runs. She's a 26-year-old lesbian mother out of Tulsa. And we're done with this, right? The district is at least 30-point Republican. You've got a 26-year-old with almost no experience in politics. in one of the most conservative red districts in the country. Guess what happened? She won. I think you could see that coming, right? She won. She won by 31 votes, not 31 points, 31 votes. There's two reasons why I'm telling you this story. Number one, I think that the country is going to be shocked at how sick of Republicans, even the reddest place in the country are. Why? Because in those places, they have tried the Republican experiment. For example, in Kansas, they cut taxes to the bone for the rich, and then they had to have giant deficits, which they can't have, and they had to find a way to get rid of them, and they slashed their own kids' educations. And the anger is rising and rising. Now, Brownback barely won that election, partly because Hillary Clinton was on the ticket on the other side at the national level, and she was perceived as the establishment, and people in Kansas were mad at the establishment. But he barely squeaked by, and then he got the hell out of Dodge, in his case quite literally, and took some nonsense position at the Trump administration. But people in Kansas are furious. People in Oklahoma are also mad because the Republicans have destroyed the budget there as well. I'm just gonna give you a snippet of it here. As Ilke Freeman herself explains, the 26-year-old said Oklahoma's continuing state budget problems are a big concern of voters she spoke with during the campaign. Everyone I was engaging with depends in some way or another on basic needs that are provided through the state budget. People started to feel scared. Well, that's exactly right, because the country is in some degree of devastation. I know the elites don't understand that, but when you're making $7.25 in the middle of Tulsa, and you can't pay the bills, and someone in your family gets sick, you get justifiably concerned, very, very concerned. And then if you need the government to help to make sure that your family member doesn't die, well, you begin to understand the value of government. And then when the Republicans come along and say, no, we're gonna cut those services that now a lot of you are relying on because we wanna give one more tax cut to the rich. Well, people start to, at some point, rebel. And they're doing it even in the deep heart of Oklahoma. There's been 4 special elections that Democrats have flipped in Oklahoma. So this one was unbelievable. But there's also a second factor that's important, which is the Trump voters, well, it's hard for them to get excited because things are not going that well. He hasn't been able to pass anything, and everything he has proposed has involved more giveaways to the rich and taking away either health care from the poor and the middle class or literally increasing their taxes to pay for tax cuts for the rich. So hard to get excited, so they largely stayed home. Whereas Democrats are angry and they went out to vote. And in a lot of these elections, you'd be shocked at what it takes how little it takes to get someone in office. So let me show you the vote in this case. The vote was 2,234 for Allison Ickley Freeman and 2,203 for the Republican candidate Brian O'Hara. That's a 31 vote difference. You know what happens when you vote? You win. So I am not the establishment guys on TV yelling at you like, hey, why don't you get in line and vote for whoever we tell you to vote for? Well, it's your fault for not voting for Hillary Clinton. No. It was their fault for not giving people a reason to vote. You put up an establishment candidate when people can't stand the establishment anymore. You put up a random 26-year-old lesbian mom in the middle of Tulsa. They're like, good enough. Let's go. Get the bums out. Get the bums out. Good enough. Okay, I'm saying for Tulsa. For me, it's great enough. So we need to put up real human beings as candidates, not corporate-backed robots. And if you do that, then you give people a reason to vote. And if you register and you vote, and it's for a candidate you love and that you believe in, that you know is uncorrupted, then guess what happens? We win. We win. Look, if they're telling you, hey, nothing's going wrong, nothing is rigged, don't worry about it, your wages should be as low as they are, they're full of crap. If they tell you to vote for the establishment person, and don't worry, they'll be slightly better than the Republican, they're full of crap. But what I don't want you to do is take that as discouragement that you shouldn't try. You should try like hell as an activist, and then you should register and you should vote in primaries. And then yes, you should vote in the general election, and yes, anything is possible. If we can win in the heart of Oklahoma, we could win anywhere. So that one does depend on you. Look, it's on the Democratic Party, progressives overall in the country, to find candidates who are uncorrupted, to find candidates who are great, can actually, that you have confidence will actually work for you and give you real change, right? Then it's on you to register and vote. And if you do, I'm telling you right now, look at this example. You can change the world. The victories we can have in 2018 and 2020, I believe they can be shocking. I think we're gonna win 42 states in 2020 if we have a progressive candidate. Everybody in Washington, when I tell them that, they go, 42 states, you're crazy. No, I'm not crazy. The country is progressive. We need to give them a progressive, uncorrupted candidate, and we will win everywhere. And it's not just my hope. It's not just faith. Here it is. It's already happening. So up and at 'em. Let's go fight. Let's go win. Okay, I got to take a break. When I come back, I'm going to tell you some of the folks who could help you and all of us in getting those wins. I'm going to tell you about a new crop of Just Democrats. We got one exciting announcement after another. We got one. I'm going to tell you about these guys today. We got a dramatic announcement coming up in a couple of weeks that's going to be awesome and you're going to absolutely love. But the candidates that we're going to show you are great. But the first one, I think that it's going to go to the core of what you guys believe in. It's such a great story. You're going to love that story because you know who that guy is? He's you. I'll explain what I mean when we come back. All right, back on the Young Turks, guys. So we're doing a 10-day Black Friday sale. My son yesterday asked me, what's Black Friday and why is it black? And I said, there's sales. And he's like, why is that a bad thing? I'm like, trust me, it's a bad thing. But I don't like shopping. Luckily, you guys don't have to go out to shop. You can go to Shop TYT and order right now. So I'm told there's a panic on about these hats because they say member on the back and they're super badass and Mark Thompson wears them. There was 50 and now we're down to 20. So you do need to panic. Once we're out, I don't know what happens. We never ever ordered them again. No, I don't know, but I do know that they'll be out for the Black Friday sale. So text DEAL, DEAL obviously, to 228466 to get more deals. But right now, members only hats on day 7. So that's shoptyt.com. Easiest thing to do is just go shoptyt.com and you'll get it. Okay. All right. Let's tell you about some wonderful new things. Okay. Here we go. We've got great new announcements for new Just Democrats, and you're gonna love these guys. Every one of them is uncorrupted. Every one of them represents you. Every one of them is a strong progressive. So first, we're gonna start with Brent Welder. Now, and as I tell you all this, most important thing is if these guys are gonna win with small contributions, so they don't have to take corporate PAC money, and they don't, you're gonna need to help them out. So justicedemocrats.com/winning. Okay. We need you to do that for these new 5 candidates that are out now, justdemocrats.com/winning. So Brent Welder, what's his story? Well, I love Brent's story because it's the story of you. Not only did he work with Bernie Sanders and he was appointed to the 2016 Democratic National Platform Committee, not only, by the way, and what did he do? He proposed a plank that would get money out of politics. Now, that is not surprising if you know Brent's history. You know why? Because he was a volunteer for Wolfpack. I love these guys, but it gets better. You ready? He was one of the first TYT members ever. He is you guys. So he's now running for Congress. It gets better. You ready for this? He's in a district, one of only 5 districts in the country, that Bernie Sanders won in the primary and Hillary Clinton actually won in the general election. So he's running in Kansas's 3rd district. But yes, that district is very, very winnable. If there's any kind of wave at all, Brent's a US congressman. So in these winnable districts, it's gotta be progressives. It's gotta be the uncorrupted. So you've gotta help Brent Welder out. Let me give you more from him. First, I wanna show you a couple of videos from Brent so you get a little bit familiar with him. Here, watch this.
At TYT, we frequently talk about all the ways that big tech companies are taking control of our online lives, constantly monitoring us and storing and selling our data. But that doesn't mean we have to let them. It's possible to stay anonymous online and hide your data from the prying eyes of big tech. And one of the best ways is with ExpressVPN. ExpressVPN hides your IP address, making your activity more difficult to trace and sell to advertisers. ExpressVPN also encrypts 100% of your network data to protect you from eavesdroppers and cyber criminals. And it's also easy to install. A single mouse click protects all your devices. But listen, guys, this is important. ExpressVPN is rated #1 by CNET and Wired magazine. So take back control of your life online and secure your data with a top VPN solution available, ExpressVPN. And if you go to expressvpn.com/TYT, you can get 3 extra months for free with this exclusive link just for TYT fans. That's expressvpn.com/TYT. Check it out today.
I have a no conflict situation because I'm president. Get the hell out of here! Knock the crap out of him, would you? Seriously.
He says he's making America great again, but we know that America already is great. It's Washington that's broken, and America's coming to fix it. I'm Brent Welder. I'm sick and tired of big corporations calling the shots in Washington. I'm running for Congress to change it. I won't accept 1 penny of corporate PAC money for my campaign because I want to work for the people of Kansas's 3rd District, not Wall Street CEOs.
America's coming for you, Trump. No corporate PAC money. I love these guys. I want to show you one more video. And then, by the way, remember, guys, all the links are going to be in the description box if you're watching on YouTube. And then and on Facebook, we'll try to get them in the comments, okay? Because I want you to go to their websites. I want you to volunteer for them if you're in their district. And then you've got to get them small donations so they could beat the big corporate money. JustDemocrats.com/winning. Here's more from Brent.
I went on to work around the country with Barack Obama, Bernie Sanders, and the first Iraq War veteran elected to Congress. Last year, I worked with National Democratic Party leaders to pass the most progressive platform in history. To make America work for everyone, we need fundamental change in Washington. I'll fight to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour because no one who works full-time should live in poverty. I'll vote to wipe out corrupt tax loopholes for giant corporations and billionaires.
And he goes on the list a lot of his policy positions, every one of which I think that you will deeply enjoy. You could see their videos also in the links in the description box below, the full videos. I want to give you one of his quotes. He says, "Our campaign is thrilled to join the Justice Democrats team. I'm running for Congress because billionaires and giant corporations have too much control over our government, and Justice Democrats is a fantastic ally in our movement to ensure that government represents working families, not billionaire donors. We are running in one of the only 5 Republican-held districts that was won by Bernie Sanders in the primary and Hillary Clinton in the general. We look forward to working with the Justice Democrats to win this top-targeted swing district by running a grassroots campaign founded on strong, truly progressive values." And if you're wondering, really, Democrats winning in Kansas? Of course. And you know, a lot of the establishment guys will say, oh, no, $15 minimum wage. In Kansas, they don't want that. Who doesn't want that in Kansas? The Koch brothers live in Kansas. Maybe they don't want that. Well, kind of. They mainly live in New York. Anyway, they don't want that. The corporations don't want that. But do the people of Kansas want a decent wage when they work their ass off? Of course they do. Of course they want $15 minimum wage. So that deeply improves people's lives. Now, one more from Brent here.
The big corporations and CEOs are going to be gunning for me in this campaign. I need your help, your energy, and your enthusiasm. Let's show the corporations and billionaires their millions of dollars are no match for you. That America already is great, and now we're coming to clean up Washington once and for all.
All right, and his website is BrentWelder.com. For God's sake, go help him clean up Congress once and for all. These are not faux populists. They actually are among you guys. They are you guys. Wouldn't it be amazing if we had real people in Congress instead of the corporate robots? You could make that happen. We're trying to get to, by the way, it's a really modest goal, $17,500 for the 5 candidates we're introducing today. So justicedemocrats.com/winning, because even that little amount will help these guys a tremendous amount and put them over the top. Next guy is Derek Crow. He's Texas's 21st district, and Derek is in a seat where held that was held by a Republican that's now going to be an open seat. They call him a science nerd because he challenged Congress's most detested science deniers. I love that. He led Rethink Afghanistan project at Brave New Foundation because he was sick of the money that was being poured into these wars that were not only not useful but counterproductive. He worked with Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington. That's a group that's checking Donald Trump as we speak, making sure he's not getting away with his conflicts of interest. He's backed by Democracy for America, Bill McKibben, and obviously now Justice Democrats. Let me show you a video from Derek.
In this race, I am fighting to get corporate power out of politics and to get representation for this district that responds to constituents' needs instead of to big donors and their PAC donations. I am Derek Crow. I'm running for Congress in the 21st District of Texas.
God, uncorrupted. I love these guys. One more quote from Derek. To save the future from the fire, we must retake this country from corporate power and Wall Street money. The best way to do that is to run candidates who embody progressive values. Just as Democrats fight for populist policies like urgent climate change action, Medicare for all, college for all, and a $15 hour minimum wage, we as Democrats must also get our house in order and divorce our official party structures from big money so that working people know where we stand. The future of our party, our democracy, and our planet depends on us taking back Congress with these values guiding us. Hard not to like these guys. All right, his website, electcrow.com/join. All the links down below, justicedemocrats.com/winning. Let's get these guys money. $17,500. It is not much, but it makes a huge difference. The corporate guys will come in with a lot more money, but we'll come in with volunteers and we'll come with passion, and our warriors will defeat their mercenaries. Let's go to Colin Allred next. He's in Texas's 32nd district. Every one of these guys, I know the establishment guys will say, no, but can he really win? Yes, he can. He actually played in the NFL for the Tennessee Titans, and he's got a great story. Here, watch his video.
I made it to the NFL through perseverance. First time I tried out, I got cut. Came home to work at the YMCA sweeping floors before I finally made it. I was a backup linebacker and special teams player for 5 years. I lived my dream, but I'm most proud of my work as an attorney, defending civil rights and voting rights across Texas, protecting affordable housing with Julian Castro at the Department of Housing and Urban Development, and mentoring other kids who need the same shot I got.
You know who he's running against? Pete Sessions. That's Jeff Sessions' brother. How great would it be to send that guy home? So Pete Sessions, of course, has voted to repeal Obamacare about 1 million times. He voted for Trump's healthcare policy that had about a 17% approval rating because it mainly took healthcare away from you guys and gave tax cuts to billionaires. It's not the first time that Sessions has worked for billionaires. He voted for the bailout. What happened, conservatives? I thought you didn't believe in bailouts. I thought you all you wanted was bootstraps. Now here's Colin. He actually brought himself up by the bootstraps. Pete Sessions, meanwhile, is voting and working for Wall Street. You know that Allred got into Berkeley Law School, and he's like, Berkeley, hold on a minute. I'm gonna get back to you in a minute, okay? But I'm gonna go play in the NFL. He goes, plays in the NFL for 5 years, and then goes back and becomes a lawyer. Goes to law school, and now he's fighting for voting rights, voting protection programs, and by the way, he's already raised $267,000. He's coming, and he played defense, so he's about to tackle Pete Sessions. It's gonna be great if we beat Pete Sessions. You gotta support these guys, justdemocrats.com/winning, and in this case, colinallred.com/join. Check out his website too. Have I mentioned the links are always in the description box? Go check him out. Next, Jenny Marshall. She is running in North Carolina's 5th district. That is obviously in the state in 2018. That is the time for the race. She is running against one of the worst people in America, let alone Congress. It's Virginia Fox. JR, you remember Virginia Fox? She is the worst. She opposes birthright citizenship. She thinks even if you're born in America, I don't think you should get citizenship. Then Virginia, who should? Let me guess. Just the folks you like. Gee, I wonder what race they're going to be. Virginia, I can't quite tell. Anyway, she called Matthew Shepard's death a hoax. She's a terrible person. She denied aid to, she voted against aid to victims of Hurricane Katrina. And you know what? Her lead in that district is not that large. Not that large at all. So Jenny Marshall can beat her, and if she does, you're going to be so proud. She's endorsed by Sister Giant, Blue America, the local Our Revolution groups, brand new Congress, now Justice Democrats. And here's Jenny's quote. Jenny Marshall is a public school teacher and a community organizer. As her website explains, she is running because for far too long, our families and communities have been ignored, dismissed, and disenfranchised. Wall Street and huge conglomerates have put profits over people. This must change. Jenny is prepared to step up and fight for all of us in Washington. That means passing Medicare for all, investing in our future, and helping to create economic equity for all people. You know what Jenny was? She was a teacher. She is a teacher. She is teaching 8th and 9th grade social studies. And when she was in Indiana earlier in her life, she fought Republican efforts to slash education. She fought for your kids. And now she's ready to take that fight to Washington. I love it. Her website is marshallforhouse.org. So go there, volunteer, do what you can. justicedemocrats.com/winning. One more, Brianna Westbrook, Arizona's 8th district. And Brianna makes us all proud, part of the diversity that we've got in Just Democrats and among real progressives. She's a transgender woman running for Congress. She's got a successful sales career. I love her video. We'll put it down below as well, where you've got regular folks in her district in Arizona saying, Brianna stands for me. Brianna fights for me. Now, one of her opponent is another disaster, Trent Franks in Arizona. He sponsored a lead effort to pass a bill that would make abortion far more difficult, make it in a 20-week period. And he would like to start a database to track Muslim leaders in the country. Fundamentally un-American. That's who Trent Franks is. If a successful Justice Democrat beats him, it would be wonderful. And again, these districts are more winnable than you realize. Quote from Brianna. Brianna seeks to represent Arizona's 8th congressional district for what she can give to this country, not what she can take. She runs a clean campaign that supports universal health care and a quality education for all, not just privileges for a select few. Her website is westbrookforcongress.com. Guys, you asked for clean candidates. You asked for people you can believe in that are true progressives, not establishment hacks, not people who take corporate PAC money and then turn around and vote with their donors and not with you guys. Here are those candidates, the candidates that you asked for. So go support them. justicedemocrats.com/winning. And if you're in their districts, for God's sake, go volunteer for them. Our volunteer army is going to honestly annihilate our competition. We're going to run over them. I've seen it happen time and time again. You go knock on doors and you win. Warriors beat mercenaries. Let's go make this thing happen. Thank you, guys. It's exciting times. All right, now let me give you a story of why we need the change. So that's in today's news. So let's go to the next story. So Ajit Pai is the head of the FCC, that's the Federal Communications Commission. And he is honestly a corporate hack. He used to work for Verizon, got paid a good amount of money from them. And then the Republicans put him at the FCC to make sure that he changed the rules in favor of companies like Verizon. It's not just them, it's AT&T and the other internet providers. Now, the reason you have the internet as you do now, which is free and open, is because there were regulations put into place. The regulations do not go and interfere with the internet. In this case, it's a regulation that simply protects the internet, that says that companies who have the pipes going into your house cannot themselves regulate the internet unfairly and slow down some websites, speed up other websites, and create an unequal internet. All it does is protect the internet. So Ajit Pai was brought in to destroy that. And in May, he got his first vote that he wanted to begin to end net neutrality. Now, as we go through this, I'm going to explain to you why the right wing is actually opposed to him, the ones that are online, and why they're right. They need to be more opposed to him than even the left wing. So first, let me give you what happened today. Ajit Pai, the Republican chairman of the FCC, announced on Tuesday that the FCC will vote to roll back Obama-era net neutrality rules that require internet service providers to treat all web traffic equally. Now, let me begin the explanation for the right wingers. You might see that and go, what? Well, look, if the Republicans like him, I guess I like him. And, Obama-era regulations sound scary. Obama didn't do anything to change the internet. He just passed a regulation saying, don't touch the internet. You're not allowed to change the internet. Now, that's a regulation you should love. Now, why should the right wing be more concerned than the left wing? Guys, look at all of your the alt-right guys, for example, right? They say things that get them banned from sites left and right. And if the giant corporations are regulating the internet, they want to be able to sell to everybody. They're not going to want to have these right-wingers saying crazy stuff on the internet. And especially if they're taking on the establishment in their own party or multinational corporations, they're not going to want that at all. You guys are going to be the first ones thrown overboard. And then they'll come for us. Why? Because they're corporations. They just want to maximize their profits. And if your website is hindering their profits in any way, shape, or form, you think they're going to care about you? They're legally not allowed to care about you. Of course they'll slow down the websites you like unless you pay a ransom. You think corporations are your friends? They're not humans. They will maximize profit by law. So along those lines, the Hill reports, the move is a win for companies like Verizon, Comcast, and AT&T, which would be freed of restrictions on blocking or throttling certain content or requiring websites to buy into internet fast lanes. Hey, all you alt-right guys out there, you got all the cash in the world to get into a fast lane? I didn't think so. So if you don't pay for the fast lane, they can now, if this passes, and they're going to have the final vote on December 14th, I'll tell you about that in a second. If this passes, that's it. There's no more net neutrality. And those companies can say, one, you didn't pay me a ransom. Now your site is incredibly slow. Oh, look, people can't go on your site, but they can go on my site. Do those giant companies have websites of their own? Do they have web presence? They have gigantic web presence. Oh my God, HuffPost is part of Verizon. You right-wingers, Huffington Post will be super fast, and your websites will suck. They just told you they're able to throttle them all the way back. So why am I fighting for it as a progressive? Because I believe in America, and I believe in the internet, and I don't think that anybody should be throttled. And look, we've got partnership with some of the biggest companies out there on the internet. And we'll see how things turn out. We might be totally fine. But it is a terrible idea overall. A terrible idea for these corporations to have the ability to regulate the internet by themselves when you didn't even vote for them. They're not accountable to you. Okay, more on this. Jessica Rosenworcel, who's an FCC commissioner, said, the God's honest truth. She said, our internet economy is the envy of the world because it is open to all. This proposal tears at the foundation of that openness. It hands broadband providers the power to decide what voices to amplify and which sites we can visit, what connections we can make, and what communities we create. It throttles access, stalls opportunity, and censors content. Philosophically, this is one of the worst things that the government can do. Because look at TV, both for the right wing and the left wing. You think they represent you? They're almost all millionaires on TV. And what? Again, if you're a Bernie Sanders supporter or you're a Republican, you think that all those guys on cable news voted for your candidate? I'd say approximately 148 out of 150 voted for Hillary Clinton. And all the giant corporations who backed her. So they already own TV. All the money in politics goes to TV. But that internet, it's pesky, it's annoying with its freedom and its openness and its equality. They're coming to crush it. You've got to fight back. You know how many comments have been sent already to them? 22 million comments. They don't give a damn. So I think we got to show up. I think we got to go to their house. I don't mean their physical house, I mean their office, okay? So first, let me explain when the real vote is. So today they took another step forward, but Pi now plans to hold a final vote on the proposal at the FCC's December 14th meeting. The people said and roll out details of the plans next week. Look, I don't know that I could organize one more thing, but December 14th, the FCC building should be surrounded. And if you're not angry, you're not paying attention. And it's not to say that you do anything outside of politics. Look, I don't know what your affiliation is, but I'm a progressive. I believe in nonviolence and I believe in political action. So the address for the Federal Communications Commission is 445 12th Street Southwest. You should start showing up now. I don't care if it's one guy with a sign. I don't care if it's 12 guys, 100 nurses, 1,000 teachers, whoever it is. This is in Washington, D.C., from this day to December 14th, you should let them know that you exist and that you want a free internet. 1-888-CALL-FCC is another way to reach them. No other call should get through. 1-888-225-5322. Let them know. And then finally, look, I didn't dig this email up. It's on their website. We sent 22 million comments, and Ajit Pai apparently burned them in some campfire, right? Doesn't care. 22 million people want a free internet. Yeah, but the guys who paid me before, the guys who are going to pay me after I leave this job, want me to sell out the internet. So that's what Ajit Pai is going to do. So here's his email, ajit.pai@fcc.gov. Like I said, this is public information. You could have found it on the website as well. I'm not doing anything that you can't see in public. But if they ignore 22 million Americans, I guess they got to see you before they understand that you're real. So, look, I wish I could help more. I wish I could stop everything and go figure out a way to organize rally on top of rally and get 1 million people to show up at the FCC. I'm handing it off. I hope you guys can begin to do this on your own, or have the right wing organize the right wing, the left wing organize the left wing, the moderates do whatever you got to do. But just stop by at the FCC and begin the protest now. And on December 14th, they should hear you roar. And if they steal the internet from you, at least let them know that you're not going to let them get away with it. And shake the rafters a little bit. If they close that window, man, there goes freedom. And from there on, they can control all the media. And then we got no tools to fight back against the establishment and the elites. Young Turks. You like podcasts? Oh, I like podcasts. Get the TYT podcast. Get the whole show and TYT interviews and old school and aggressive, progressive. So many wonderful TYT shows. No ads. Become a member right now. TYTnetwork.com/join. Thanks for listening to the full episode of The Young Turks. Support our work, listen ad-free, access members-only bonus content, and more by subscribing to Apple Podcasts at apple.co/TYT. I'm your host, Cenk Ana, and I'll see you soon.